This is John Young with the Weekend Handyman. Today we're going to be replacing on a Gerkin screen. Now this is a screen from a Gerkin bay window. I've been doing these with my other Gerkin screens. A lot of them have these little clips that hold the screen in. It fits in at the top, it swings in on the bottom, and then these little plastic clips will slide over and catch. Let me show you what they look like. I'm going to bring them a little closer. These are some that are from the original unit. This is actually one that I just replaced, but what they do is they have a pivot point that's riveted there, and they swing down. One part goes behind, one part goes in front, and that secures it to the wall. After a while, they change color. You can see there's some kind of color, kind of cloudiness, and they become very fragile, and they break easily. So we've got to replace those two. And again, they are, I'm going to bring this over to you, held on by pop rivets that do not go all the way through. They just go through the first layer of the metal, and then they go. And this is how they would work. They will close, and that would be closed when it's all installed. But they get fragile after a period of time. These Gerkin screens have been in our house since 2007. So we're in 2019 right now. That means some of them started to break at about year 8, and we didn't replace them. Now we're getting year 10 and such. We've been replacing them. There's a left and a right-handed version, and I have those in the bag there. Let me show you what the difference, how the difference in look. Here's an old one, and here's the new one. See, there's not quite as much cloudiness and such going on, and they're a little bit more durable, and they can actually flex, where the old ones will snap. I'm not going to break this one. You saw me break the other one. So you want to make sure you get them on the proper side. The proper way they go is that they will pivot point, and they go, the little wing here that says Gerkin on it goes to the outside. The little finger spot is to the inside. So they will go on my screen like so and like so. I've got my left and my right. But first I have to get these off, and what I'm going to be using is just my cordless drill, and I'll be using a 9/64 drill bit. Basically an 1/8 inch would do. 9/64 is what I have because I have children, and they take Dad's drill bits from in the house and sometimes break them and don't tell Dad about it. So we're going to use the 9/64. And all I'm going to be doing is just kind of lightly drilling into the rivet, the top of the rivet. Just going to set the drill right on the center of the rivet, and we're going to drill down. And I'm also, because I'm doing it in the house, in the garage here. By the way, if you're going to be working in a garage, taking a couple of these lifetime tables and putting them together gives you a nice big work area. I've got a 4-foot and a 6-foot here, and it works really quite well. I'm going to use my Ryobi shop back here and be able to just use that to catch any of the little birds and such that are going to fly, and we're going to drill out these two pieces, because if I'm going to replace one, I'm going to replace them both just to make it a lot easier and not have to have replacing one and then that one breaks like 10 minutes later. Now I wasn't pressing with the drill virtually at all, because I want the drill basically to do the job, and I don't want to be pressing so hard that it shoots right through the rivet into or through the aluminum of this, so I didn't go there. Now we have the two, they're drilled out, the holes are there, and when you order the replacement pieces from Gerkin, they send you out the little screws. Well, the little screws are too small. They're self-tapping screws. They're too small for the holes that are there. So what you have to do is you have to go about a 1/4 inch up the screen. That actually works quite well by going up the screen to make the holes. We're going to actually drill a small pilot hole, and we're going to go about a 1/4 inch up. So we're going to go up to, let me just point it out. I'm going to be using a let's see, what size drill bit? I'm going to use a 5/64. Again, it's about the right size. I just need something to make it so that that self-tapper can get in there a little easier. But I'm going to come up here about 1/4 inch to about this point right here, and that's where I'm going to drill a hole here, a little pilot hole, just through the top layer. And then I'll do the same down here, about 1/4 inch up, somewhere in that ballpark, and we'll make those holes. So we're going to go about 1/4 inch up. There we go. There's one. 1/4 inch up. And there's our 2 holes. And again, the size of the drill bits, I needed to make sure the drill bit was small enough for this screw, because this is a self-tapping screw, which we'll get into the metal. I just needed to have a little bit of a hole for it to get started to make it a lot easier to use in this process. I'm going to clean up my spot. So this is what we have. We have our spot where we drilled out the rivet right there. And that little hole is the little one we're going to be using for the self-tapping screw to put the new pieces on. So this one is going to be the one that will go on this side of the screen, so it'll go on the left side. And I just put my little self-tapping screw in there just to make it a little easier. And I'm going to be doing this with a screwdriver as opposed to a cordless, just because I want to have the ability to run it in nice and smoothly. And it goes in quite easily because we're talking an aluminum screen. So with just a little bit of force, it bites and it starts going in. And I say force, I'm not even really talking much force at all because it's a self-tapper. You don't have to get it super, super tight. You just want to get it snug. Because if you go too tight, it will actually won't function. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now, probably the most important part of this process is to make sure you get the right clips on the proper side. And then you want to make sure that you're going above as opposed to below. If you would go below, you'll actually not, it will not work on it when you go to put it back together. So there we are. Let's see. You can kind of still see where the hole, the old hole was right there. And now this will pivot into place and lock and catch, and we'll be good to go. Let's take our screen in the house and put it in. So in our bay window here, we just have to open up. I just set the screen in outside, and then we can go and slide these down into place. Now you can see if we would go down from that hole, we would be a little bit too tight. So we have to go right at that 1/4 inch up. We have a little bit of space. If you get a little bit higher than that, you're okay. But if you go too high, you're going to definitely be out of the area and it will not work. And there you can see that the little clip, part of it goes behind the trim piece and part of it goes in front. So that way it holds it into place. But when they get older, they become fragile and that particular part will start to fail and eventually will crack and break. Well, that was our little video on how to replace the little clips on the side of your Gerkin screen. I'll put a link in the description below where you can go out. If you do have Gerkin screens, you're going to be replacing those clips at some point in time. I'll go and put a link in the description where you can find those. And of course, it's just really quite simple. Make sure you've got your drill bits, a decent drill bit, a decent little drill, and replace those. I mean, do them in pairs, because if you do just one, you're probably going to end up doing the next one the next time you take the screens off to clean the windows. This is John Young with the Weekend Handyman. Thank you for watching.
For more tips and how-to videos, go to weekendhandyman.com.